Hey, how you doing? Hey, everybody, welcome to Star Trek Resignation. It's me, it's Wade Bowen, and with me over here I got Sean Parada.
Hey.
And Glenn Hall.
Hello.
Hello, and this is it's like a CBS special cartoon presentation thing, because I don't know what this podcast is subtitled now anymore. It's just Star Trek Resignation, but we finished that Lower Decks cartoon show, and I guess we're here to talk about this new show, for kids, right? This was
another animated series, but very different presentation.
And I wasn't sure.
By different presentation, you mean it looks like shit?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
That's a spicy take coming right in.
I just don't like the animation style. I'm just not into it.
Okay.
Personal pref.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, hey, so Glenn asked, "Hey, are we doing this new thing?" And I was like, and I think, I don't know if you, at the end of the last thing, I was like, I don't know what I can commit to, man. Let's see if this show is dog shit or not. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, it was, well, I will get into what we thought about it, but it was like, well, you know what? I watched that pilot, and it's at least worth talking about, and now we can get into it. That sounds like I'm holding my cards over here, but
look at this. I don't know how, Wade, we did not discuss this off pod. We have not. I don't know what Wade thought of this.
I will admit, from the very little that Wade shared, it did seem like you at least didn't hate it.
No. I'll come out right and say, I mean, this was probably this is one of the best Star Trek pilots that have been out there, I think.
Wow.
Actually, it's arguably as a pilot, it worked so much better than so much other Star Trek did. But it's a kids show. And you know what? It's a pretty good one, I think. I don't know. Yeah, I was actually impressed with the pilot.
Yeah,
I guess that's the big surprise. Oh, actually, that was a pretty good. It was just, yeah.
I don't know if I'd call it the strongest Star Trek pilot ever, but
then what is, Glenn?
What is?
I mean, now I feel put on the spot.
Mr. 100% over here.
If you claim something isn't something, then something else is that.
And you know what? Fair point calling me on that. But just off the top of my head, I feel like the Voyager pilot. No, I take it back. That's not right. That's. I'm just flipping through the Rolodex. I'm trying to remember the first episode of each series. I feel like the original Trek animated series had actually a pretty strong pilot.
I have no idea. Yeah, it's no Encounter at Farpoint, though.
No,
is it?
Of course, yes. That's a strong start.
Was it?
I mean, I liked it. It's not. I don't know if I'd call it the best.
That's a mess of a show. Encounter for Farpoint is not what people. It took them a while to find their feet. I'll come out and say I think it, just because it was a strong pilot, full stop. I think you could get into
on that front, I agree.
And most of the time they're just like, oh, it's something. I mean, I have a strong affinity for watching the DS9 pilot when I was a kid, and it felt like a big thing because I was into Final Fantasy, and it reminded me of getting crystals and shit. But going back on it, it's like it's a fine pilot, but.
It just falls short of where that show eventually gets to.
Right.
Hey, this one's got crystals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I can't really say because where the show's going. I don't know because there's only the pilot out. But it was, I think, where all the nerds and the Star Trek people might like, well, it didn't. Maybe it doesn't feel like a Star Trek pilot. I mean, it feels like they're trying to do a Star Wars cartoon. And, they got. Yeah.
But I did think that at one point too, that this felt the most Star Warsy of kind of the recent attempts to Star Wars Trek up. We saw in Discovery where they had the space fighters that are kind of Star Wars style, and then on Picard they had the Millennium Falcon-esque ship.
Right. But of all their attempts to Star Wars it up, I think this is the only one that worked. Like, it was just this is the best execution of a Star Wars style show from Star Trek that I think, because usually, because it's like, because I mean, because it all fit together, like just as a story, it worked better, and it didn't have the thing going into it. Like, we're just going straight for a kids appeal. We're not going to bog it down in all this Federation minutia bullshit.
Right.
They want to do, but then they don't want to do. They want to pull back on certain stuff so they can, Star Trek 2009 it up, I guess. And, people will really want space, they want this. So, but they're trying to do everything to all people. It's like, well, no, they're just going to do a pretty good space adventure with the purple rat tail alien, and we'll throw in a General Grievous and some, Star Wars.
That was a cool Grievous.
Played by Jimmy Simpson.
Jimmy Simpson, they didn't. I mean, the cast that they got. I mean, like or dislike the animation style, I get it, but the money that they didn't skimp on the budget for this cartoon.
No, you can tell. Yeah, they put some production into it.
Well, I do. Right. I do wonder, to bring it back to the Star Wars thing. I do wonder if kind of at least part of the calculus here is to compete with. I was going to say Clone Wars, but I guess now it's that Bad Batch show on Disney, which I've only seen a little bit of the Clone Wars. I know people really like that show.
Clone Wars are, I'm waiting for my kid to get old enough to get into it and watch all of it, I guess.
It's fucking great.
Yeah, that's what I hear, yeah.
And for me, I was kind of curious because, this is technically a Nickelodeon show, and I was kind of curious if they were going to try to map it at all to Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is, for those of us that watched it, I think pretty universally acclaimed and a really great exercise in a show that honestly feels like it appeals to pretty much anyone that is interested, that watches it, all ages, that kind of thing. And so I was kind of curious if Prodigy was going to follow any. Obviously, I knew it wasn't going to be 1-to-1 similar, but I was curious if I would kind of appreciate it on a similar level of this works. And I think in a broad sense, they kind of at least are on track for that.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's a totally different group of creators than
sure. Oh, absolutely.
We're doing Avatar. They were because honestly, they got the people that did Hotel Transylvania, the story for the Lego movie. They're the brothers, the guys that created the show are pretty well established in kids cartoons.
Those Hotel Transylvania movies are better than they should be.
Right. I mean, I haven't watched any of them because my kid's not that old. But people, they're pretty good, right? I mean, it's Genndy Tartakovsky.
It is right, yeah. But
it's also these two guys.
Yeah.
Are all So
those things are actually they really sort of transcend their material. It's they're really genuinely very entertaining, which a lot of this was too. I think really the big sort of broad stroke for me with this was I was just saying that these Hagman brothers, unless they're married, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
Which would be great too, but I think they're just brothers.
Yeah.
They've got a good pedigree. They seem to do good work.
Oh, right, yes.
They're the guys behind
I have heard that, and I heard y'all mention Genndy Tartakovsky, which that's I have to remind myself that he is involved in those, and he's really great at what he does. So
he really he adds them. He gives them a little extra bump.
Right, and not that he has anything to do with this show, but
no.
But that Primal cartoon with the dinosaur and the caveman is awesome.
I never watched that. I gotta watch that one.
Oh, I mean, I'm raving about how good this was for this kid's Star Trek show, but that fucking Primal, go watch that, man. That's a pretty cool.
I'll check that shit out.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say about this, what I think what really, and this is what I think I've really been missing, particularly in Discovery and Picard, and I think I wasn't really looking for it in Lower Decks, which worked to its favor, but it's sort of just the wonder of it all, the sort of the excitement, the sort of wow, this is cool. Like, this thing that all these people are doing, it helps to sometimes remember that it's fucking bug nuts shit crazy. They're flying through space, you know, like, and I don't need like every second of discovery from them to be like, another star. But it does, like, a lot of the Trek does feel a little bit sort of like, well, we all know that this is what we do, and so who cares? And it's like, and I think it felt the perspective feels fresh for me for the Trek I've seen of really, you know, a group of people who are like, oh, space! Oh, look at space! And I'm like, oh, it's like immediately I'm on its side. Like it really,
it pays to kind of reestablish the scale of all this.
Yeah,
right. I mean, and this show, I mean, it gets to a lot of what I was saying. Like, I don't care if you're doing Star Trek differently with Discovery, and if they want to do a like different show, just I don't care if you're doing Star Trek. Just do a show, okay? Like, this show, like, because this, I mean, it's coming at Star Trek from a totally different angle. Not just that it's a kids show, because come on, Star Trek. It's not like Star Trek hasn't been for kids since they were buying, you know. But you know, it's a non-human crew. There's no humans at all in the Delta Quadrant, where a part of the galaxy where they can do shit without having to conflict with the canon of all the dumb shit.
Right,
that,
they're in
Kirk
kind
Smith's
of not uninhabited, but an uninhabited by the Federation corner of the galaxy.
Right.
Now, is there something in this that alerted you to that, or did you read that somewhere?
Well, they did say Delta Quadrant.
I didn't really watch that closely, so fair enough.
Even if they hadn't said Delta Quadrant, the eagle-eyed Trekkies would notice that the guy that brought the Cation kid was a Kazon, and Kazons are native to the Delta Quadrant, and I don't think they have that advanced like warp technology, so like it wouldn't. This is definitely nerd corner, but like, you know, they wouldn't have the capability to reach the alpha or beta quadrant.
There's nothing. I asked a question, you're answering it. There's nothing. That's good. Thanks.
I mean, we're dorks doing a Trek podcast. Yeah. You can do that.
Yeah, we don't have to get bogged down by it, but that's a reasonable piece of information. Thanks. Now shut up.
Oh,
he's not. He doesn't know what to do with praise, Sean. We better.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's why I told him to shut up.
I'll admit that was the reaction I was expecting.
Yeah. No. Listen, I asked. You know, right? You know, as always with Star Trek, I don't know what these aliens are. I don't know what's real. Is Medusa real? Is the, you know, real as in like formerly established in other Trek, you know?
So I feel like there's a lot of these that are like a Medusan. I feel like has been mentioned in somewhere TOS or something, a non-corporeal.
Oh yeah. There, it's the episode. I forget the name of it, but it's a notable episode of TOS where there's a Medusan, and like you look at them and you go insane, and Spock has to wear like special glasses to look at it, and so I thought this was like a pretty interesting escalation of that concept, kind of like in Hellboy 2, where I forget Wade, you read the comics, you know what the character I'm talking about, Johan.
Yeah, but I don't know what Hellboy 2 is. You mean the movie?
Yeah, sorry, the Hellboy 2 the movie, not the comic. But I believe
and the Golden Army or whatever.
Yeah, Golden Army. It's Seth MacFarlane's character. I think Johan Kraus is the character.
He's a medium. I know the comics more than the movies.
Well, it's a similar thing where it's an incorporeal being inhabiting a physical suit.
Yeah. Johan Kraus is like an ectoplasmic ghost, basically. But yes, your point stands.
Yes.
Nerd corner. Shove me in a locker.
Lane's not here to shove you in the locker, Wade. Not this week.
So even ectoplasm's a little more corporeal than just energy, but it's the same difference. I'm nitpicking. You're right.
No.
There was a goo creature in this.
Yes.
Well, there was, the bag of snot that they like. The use of the translator is good because it's just, you know, it's a rat-tailed kid finds a magic spaceship that he can fly off in, and they did a good job of like establishing that the Federation is just this advanced thing that these people are, you know, they're in space, I guess, but they don't have the technology of the Federation. Denethor is looking for the spaceship.
Walter Bishop himself.
Fringe.
They got Jimmy Simpson, they got John Noble, they got Zooks would probably work cheaper,
Zooks,
I guess,
yeah. That quote's probably inching its way up.
I'm sure it is.
He's doing more and more voice stuff. Yeah.
I thought Zooks was the weakest link of the whole show.
No.
I did think sort of whatever he was doing wasn't really
he was just
as hard.
He was just phoning in a zany cartoon character, right? I mean,
yeah,
kind of lent to it, but like,
yeah, definitely. But it did feel a little bit. I just watched Invincible, like way late, but and that he's really he sells that angsty hothead Looney Tune like real well, and then in this you're sort of like, well, he's like he can deliver a one-liner because he's Zooks, he can deliver a joke, but it did feel a little bit phoned in.
I don't know if I'd agree with that. I actually think that him playing a Tellurite is kind of like really.
I think it's a great casting, but no, I'm with Sean. I think he phoned it in. I'm doing a cartoon show, and it's good. But good on him for he had one little joke that kind of made me chuckle. I forgot what it was. Like, but the jokes and the jokes work in this. It's like a fun little adventure story. Like, I keep saying it's a kids show, but like it's the kind of kids show that I like. I like kids shows.
Oh, you know what I liked? Let me what Zook's line I liked when he was tying up the lady, and it's something like, "Do you have any idea what you're doing?" He goes, "A series of bad ideas." Right. It's like, yeah, good, funny, good delivery. Yeah, that that I liked. That's my kind of humor.
It's a fun potential dynamic they've got here. I could see this being like a very fun show to keep up with.
Right, I think it'll definitely, that's a character that they'll also they'll just figure out all of these characters as it goes, so everyone will sort of get more comfortable in their shtick.
Right, and, actually, I'm kind of impressed at how, and I guess it makes sense because this is the kids show, but how restrained they were in terms of reference stuff. That's probably our most consistent criticism of Lower Decks is that it just leans so heavily on the reference machine. But Mr. 100% here, they didn't really need that much of that in this episode.
I mean, they did it in the way that I prefer you to throw in nods to other stuff in a story, because it's not like the story hinges on you recognizing that I know this is an alien from that, or you remember this. Right. There's no remember this in this, because it was like, oh, there's a Kazon. If you know fucking Voyager, you know that there's Kazons in it, and then he's a Tellurite, and then they're just like, oh, and he knows how ships work because he's a Tellurite from the Alpha Quadrant probably, but kids don't need to know that, so they just throw them in there and it works. Right. Okay.
And and
there's a whole story for how he got to the Delta Quadrant. I'm sure that they might hit on in episodes later on, but they're like, yeah, just don't worry about it. I was about to say
there must. Yeah, I am curious, what a Tellurite is doing that far out, because Sean, the Tellurites are one of the founding members of the Federation.
Man, you're into stuff I don't care about now.
Sean, get this. They're like,
you completely lost me. Do you guys have any? What race? Our rat-tailed protagonist is, or is that a true mystery?
I think the show set up that he doesn't even know where he's from, and that's part of the whole
thing. I was just wondering if there was any structure, but no, because it makes sense that we wouldn't.
So the only aliens that I at least immediately recognized is from previous stuff in the core cast are the Medusan, Manzukas's character, and I want to say that maybe what's her name, Gwyn, I think the name is the daughter of the villain. I want to say that maybe they've appeared somewhere before, but I might be making that up.
I think they're every time they have a pasty white haired alien, I always think, is that what the alien from Beyond was supposed to be? But they did that in Lower Deck or somewhere else, and I was like, no. John Noble says we are the last of the Val Nukat, and I don't know what that means, but he says what they are, but there's two of them left, so I don't. If they decide if they decide that it's the alien from beyond, it makes sense because she was the only one that we saw. But I don't know.
Memory Alpha does not seem to think that they appear anywhere else.
I mean, it makes sense if there's only 2 of them, and there's a mystery behind why Walter Bishop wants this. He's got this whole planet, this whole prison planet of slaves, very Star Wars, and he's looking for this Federation starship, and his precocious daughter, he doesn't want to know why, you know, and Jimmy Simpson and Grievous is like, well, we can't tell her or whatever. But so, I mean, it makes sense that it would be a new alien, but they did a good job of setting up all the characters. Like I don't know, just after Discovery, when they actually set up the characters well enough, and I hope maybe they can sit with it. Like, I don't know, just because this new era of Star Trek started with Michael as the penultimate. This is the character we're really going to get into, and I don't know what the fuck Michael's shit deal is other than she's great. And so whenever they have these things where they have like each character is fleshed out and has their thing, Zooks is a little like he's a contrarian, whatever. It's a little weak sauce, but like they each have. Well,
wait, do you not know that that's the Tellarite thing? Is that they like to argue?
Yeah, but I mean, it's a little one note, isn't it? It's like he's Mr. Reverse Psychology. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, no, it's you know, it's like you said, like it's nice when they have characters that are not just, you know, coded as being good. You know, that they have like personality traits, and this is what I think we've ended up really liking about Lower Decks is that, you know, they've done a really great job on that show of like really defining, like, while still keeping the characters competent for the most part, like they have distinct traits, and I think that this show has set itself up to do the same. Obviously, we need to, you know, that could change. This is the pilot after all. Which actually reminds me, I'm curious, is this an hour-long show?
Well, this was episodes 1 and 2, so they did like.
Oh, thank God! Holy shit! I was not happy when I turned this on and it was 45 fucking minutes long.
Yeah.
But okay, if we do end up moving forward on this, which dear God, I hope we don't. At least each episode will be only 22 minutes long, I imagine.
Sure. Right.
Yeah,
I mean, I was like, I'll watch this, and I don't know if we need to do a podcast about each episode. Like, I don't know how much it's going to be.
I'd be fine
because it's like it's a fun romp. Like, and this is like when people want an adventure-y, fun space adventure Star Trek thing. Like, okay, for this delivered on that in a way that I was actually surprised with. I'm a little worried about how they because it took the whole show, and then they bring in the Janeway hologram, which is fine. I love Kate Mulgrew; she's great. But I wonder. And also, when I was rewatching it in the background tonight just to refresh myself about what happened. I was like, I wonder how much. I hope the next episode, the rest of the season, doesn't look cheaper because they blew all their wad on the pilot.
Yeah,
I mean, you'd think that they'd know to avoid that by this point, but like, who knows? I will admit, I'm very curious. I have a nerd corner complaint that the Janeway hologram introduced herself as Hologram Janeway, which Wade, you and I know that, you know, quote unquote real emergency holograms have a much more formal spiel that they start with. So with the EMH, it's please state the nature of your medical emergency. Like I was a little disappointed that they didn't commit to that bit up top. And
well, like we don't even really know what time period this takes place. I'm sure somewhere on the internet they've told us, but like we know that it's presumably after Janeway got after Voyager, after they got back from the Delta Quadrant.
I believe,
and they sent the ship obviously back in to explore the Delta Quadrant. We don't know what happened to the crew, and they put a Janeway hologram because she was the one that would know the Delta Quadrant better. Is what my premise that I'm working with. It sounds like it's going to be right. Yeah, that's what I assume was going on, but I don't know anything else.
No, I like that we really don't know anything except that like we know Fringe and Grievous want the ship, and like that's it. I love that like this they say it at the end of the episode, like, where are we going? I don't know. Neither do I. I love that I don't know.
Yeah, totally. And something, this actually, I wonder if it kind of ties into a dynamic you'd see, especially in like earlier seasons of a Voyager, where, you know, they are stranded in this like remote corner of the galaxy. And actually the Kazon are a perfect example of this, where like it is established that like the technology that the Federation has is by and large like way more advanced than most civilizations that are currently present in the or at the time present in the Fourth Quadrant. And so I wonder if it is as simple as like, you know, the Fringe is like, ooh, you know, this is a Federation ship, it's got warp, it's got all this stuff, like, and I want to go. I'm sure there's more to it than just that, but like, you know,
he needs more slaves.
Well, he's got some reason, some mystery behind it, because they're like, you can't tell my daughter what the real reason we need this for is. She wouldn't understand. And yeah, I mean, I do think it is, the Federation is like advanced. It's like the magic to them, which is a great way to explore a kid's show. It's just like wonder, like, okay. Yeah.
I was fully expecting when he was like on the surface of the planet, when they like sent him to, like, that wrapped up weirdly quickly, but I was expecting when they sent him to the surface and they're like, nobody comes back from the surface, I was fully expecting the resolution of that to be like they discovered how the transporter on the ship worked, and again, like, magic.
I forgot about transporter. They didn't even use a that's great. I mean, there'll be a whole episode about that probably.
Yeah,
I did like that they put him on the Wheel of Pain from the Conan on the surface.
Yeah.
But
it's, you know, it's funny, it's like kind of like a Temple of Doom situation with this like mine, where it's like it's just the whole purpose of it seems to be evil. Like, it's just
the purpose was to dig out this ship, apparently.
Right?
But using like exclusively evil methods, like.
Right. He's an evil guy. He's got a Grievous.
He's real evil. He was in a tank.
He was in a tank. Yeah. He was like fucking Vadering it up.
Yeah, he's got all the evil stuff going on.
I was gonna say he's like I was a little disappointed he wasn't like the supreme intelligence for the Kree and Marvel, where, well, if you've only seen the movies, in the movies it's an AI, but in the comics it's this giant disgusting head in a vat that is like the head of state for the entire Kree civilization. And I was a little disappointed that the diviner wasn't like, you know, something gross like that, you know?
Right. Well, he's still got to be a dad, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But actually, I'm curious with the Jimmy Simpson character. Like, so he seems to be a entirely inorganic robot.
I have no idea what he is. Yeah.
Who?
The Grievous.
The Grievous guy, the Jimmy Simpson.
Oh, sure. Yes.
I'm curious if there's going to be any exploration, because like there really aren't like droids in Trek. Like the whole thing is that Data was like the first thing that really qualified.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in like the Medusan, Zero is not a robot, but everybody thinks they're a robot.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and they're, they got that non-binary representation in there. That's
Hell
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock Talk is a kid. I'm just on the IMDb. Like, Jason Alexander's somewhere in here.
Which that's
who is Jason Alexander?
Well, Sean,
No, I don't think he showed up yet.
Okay.
No, he's not. Yeah, he's not in the pilot.
Oh,
and
okay.
The funny thing is that Jason Alexander was on Voyager as an alien that lives in the Delta Quadrant. But
there you go.
From what I'm reading, he's not playing the same character.
He's played Dr. Noom, according to IMDb. Jamila Jamil shows up as an ensign. So they get into Chakotay's in it. David Diggs shows up as a commander. So, like, this was a good. I'm curious when they get into the Star Trek of it all, how it changes, because Janeway didn't show up till the end, and she's like, I'm here to be your teacher, and you're a prodigy because you're a kid who can fly a starship, and which is fine. It started to feel a lot more kid show at the end. It was a kid show the whole time. It's fine, but I'm just wondering. Yeah, which is not a dig. I like kid shows, but I'm just curious about how the tone of the show will change when they get into. I don't know whether it'll be more episodic or just like a cartoon show where the bad guys are chasing him every episode, but you can jump in whenever. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
And Chakotay plays Captain Chakotay,
so which, I mean, the implication seems to be that we are going to see as opposed to the hologram Janeway, we're going to see the actual Chakotay.
Right. So who knows?
I'm from what you've told me about Robert Beltran, I'm a little surprised that he's gonna be like participating in this. So I'm kind of curious what the
After a while, I feel like because this is a kid show, like some of this, like they see how big the fans get excited, and they're like, well, we got to force more of this nostalgia kick onto people because that's what they want. So I wonder how much of it's like they really wanted to use Chakotay and how much like, no, you should do it. And they were probably fine with it, I guess. They're Star Trek nerds. They wanted.
Hey, I ain't mad that Chakotay's back. I'll be happy to see him.
I'm reserving judgment because I was never a big Voyager fan. I don't care. I don't give a shit about Chakotay and his.
I actually really like Chakotay. I think he's an interesting character. I don't think they did right by him in the end.
No, well, I am curious because Robert Beltran used to talk so much shit about all of it.
Well,
he was the biggest shit. That's the most fun part about having him back. But he's gonna play the game like everybody does, and so there's not gonna be. It's not like we're gonna be getting any dirt.
His character will just be like, here's my like experience on season 3.
Yeah.
But I think I'm a little more bullish on Voyager than a lot of people are. A lot of
well, people love Voyager. Like this whole, I mean, like I said, this whole new Trek seems to be just filled with Voyager people more so than any other stuff.
Oh, that actually reminds me of another a Deep Space Nine alien. Did you see there was a Lorian in this episode? Sorry, a Lurian.
A Lurian, yeah.
A Lorian?
That's right.
That's
when
right.
they use the Zero, yeah. When they use Zero to Dark Crystal, that's what they were using her for. Yeah,
that's exactly what they were doing.
Yeah, right. Essence. And what looks the most like a Gelfling? I don't know. To get
probably the Caitians. It's a stretch, but just from at least what we saw in the episode. But
yeah, it don't matter. Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah.
No, I can't go down this route.
The designs were interesting. They were a different take on Tellarites than we've seen in the new stuff. But the ship was a straight up Discovery style bridge. We're gonna nerd corner it again with the big, huge open window and the very spacious bridge. It seemed like more of a Discovery era design for the bridge than
it's a pretty kid friendly bridge. Big window, open space,
Right.
Kids can be like, "Ooh, big," and it's like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah. Because it just seemed like the design was taken from the Discovery set design for this spaceship.
Right. Just reuse the assets and just scanned it in or whatever.
Well, I wouldn't say reuse it, but yeah, just for the art design and stuff. But I mean, it's fine. It looks good. That was not. I mean, my problem with Discovery isn't that they made the bridge too big and spacious.
No, you don't say. Well, I mean, is there anything else we want to touch on with the episode?
No, I feel like we've probably talked it to death, haven't we?
Yeah. It's not. It's functionally it is a kid show, and it is less dynamic than a lot of other Trek in a way that makes me like it a lot more.
Right? So. Yeah. Just tell good story. Just do your storytelling.
They can do it. They did. This was this was a fun prison break. I liked it. Yeah, it was good.
I completely agree. It was fun. I enjoyed it, and I'll keep watching it just because if nothing else, I got to stay at 100%. I got a reputation to uphold. But it will not be a chore I hope it won't be a chore like Enterprise was.
I don't think so either. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, okay, here's the
Worst
question.
case, 22 minutes, Glenn. You'll be fine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
exactly. That's why the original animated series, like off the bat, was like yes, because I've told y'all before, the TOS episodes,
They're long.
They're like 50 minutes minimum, and they are not paced well for the most part. Like it's the Futurama joke, like 72 episodes about 30 good ones. Like
Right. Well, I mean, this TV was longer back then because it's all because sponsors didn't insist on another, 2 minutes of ads.
Right.
Basically. Yeah.
And
that's why syndication's all cut down because they had to fit more ads in and everything.
But I'll say, I think per capita, animated Star Trek, again, assuming that Prodigy, kind of holds up and continues being, entertaining as we found at this episode, per capita, animated Star Trek might be the champion in my view, at least. Like,
yeah. I mean, I've been burnt
it's my favorite Trek.
Yeah. I've been burnt by a good episode 1 before.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, also with animation, like I feel like they get the scripts done before they animate it. Probably for the whole season. Like the Discovery felt like they were always rushing to get the shit done, and they were writing the ends, but while they were in the middle of production for the middle, and they hadn't done it yet.
Well, it's no secret the behind the scenes issues on Discovery.
Right.
Yeah, and you could feel them in every episode.
Yeah, exactly. So with animation, they know where they're ending before they start putting
Sure.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it does just feel thought out.
Mm-hmm. So I'm hopeful that they won't pull the rug out from me on this.
Well,
at the same time, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I have a Federation News update for you then.
Boy, you haven't given up on this one, huh?
Yeah, well, I got to do something. But
is it going to be that they already put forward season 2 of Strange New Worlds?
Oh no, I didn't. I hadn't even heard that one. So
I got a Federation News update for you.
Oh shit! You got scooped.
Shit.
I really, what I need to do is I need to map this onto the Let Me Be Frank.
Segment
and just Google Star Trek in the news.
Yeah, they've figured out the best format for a live news segment.
Is that a Doughboys thing? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the Doughboys.
Me and some of the listeners.
You didn't watch the video I sent, Wade?
I did. I have a 2-year-old.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's my excuse for everything.
Hey, it's a good one.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, people. Sean is really into Doughboy and Glenn. Doughboys is a great podcast. Probably better than this.
It is. They don't need need a plug here, but
but how much Star Trek do they talk about? Yeah, they're doing fine.
None ever.
Oh, actually, you know what? Just googling Trek in the news did bring up something that I forgot to mention when we were talking about Lower Decks. Is that the captain of the other ship in the finale was she was like on I think just a handful of episodes, or maybe even just one. She was like an engineer that was like idolizing Geordi. And wait, if you'll
was she an engineer that was idolizing Geordi, or was she somebody that Geordi was? No, that was
that was like it's not the lady that he created the hologram version of in the almost certainly problematic.
I did see that it was a reprising a character from TNG. I did see that.
A small but arguably memorable character. So I Mr. 100% missed that one, even though I think in the episode it was very clear like this was somebody. I just didn't know who.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna go back and correct our mistakes, I fucked up with the Borg Queen. Yes, I know. As Alice Krieg was the Borg Queen from First Contact, who they replaced in Voyager, but then went back to her at some point by the end of it. So
corrections and omissions.
I fucked up by agreeing to do this.
Yeah,
so many years ago.
If we're going to correct everything, then we'll be here forever.
Yeah, right. We'll never get home. So anyway, the only news I was going to say is not even really news. It's just the reminder that Discovery Season 4 is premiering in like 2 weeks, I think, or maybe 3 weeks.
What?
Is that true?
What?
Yeah, it is.
God, oh.
I think the current slate is going to be
November 18th. Good God.
Which, comes out the day after that, Sean.
It's 2 weeks from Thursday. Oh, my God.
For Picard? No.
What?
Strange New Worlds?
No, the Wheel of Time.
Oh, I don't care.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, I'm still gonna pitch the Spiel of Time as a special non-science fiction episode.
Okay. What about the Heel of Time?
I'll do whatever you want. I just,
Well,
I'm not really gonna be involved.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably watch that just to see how.
I won't dwell on that one, but I think the plan is to have Prodigy and Discovery air at the same time because they were marketing like, "Ooh, this is the first time since 1990 whatever that we have
right 2
Star Trek shows airing at the same time." And then I think Picard, I want to say, is 2022. I don't think that's premiering in.
No, that's waiting till 2022. Yeah, because they're afraid that people aren't going to watch the kids show, which is probably fair. I don't know, but. But I bet you know which one I'll like more. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, right. Safe bet.
Yeah.
Well, shit. That's all the Federation news that I had, and I didn't even have all of it.
No. When's that Strange New Worlds show start after Picard?
Hold on, finding out.
Well, never mind. Ooh, I'm getting tired. I tell you what. I mean, y'all are lucky that I was even able to podcast at all tonight. Because I tell you what, man. I got my COVID booster yesterday.
Ooh.
Oh man, my arm. It's so hard to talk.
And just in case I didn't make it clear, fuck you.
The best callback. I forgot.
God damn it. Motherfucker. By the way, Strange New Worlds coming out 2022, no specific release date yet.
Okay, after Picard sometime.
Yeah.
So that should be enough time for your arm to be feeling better, Glenn.
I don't know, guys.
You'll be back in by then.
Just for that, I'm going to do a recap of The Dragon Reborn, the 3rd book of the Wheel of Time that I just finished rereading the other day. It starts.
All right, well,
it's notable because Rand is actually not the primary point of view.
I'm going to stop recording.
This is where we do a fade out, right?
Yeah,
Last
exactly.
time, I think
you have to do the sign off. It doesn't count unless you do the sign off.
You sent me an edit, and I think I put the sad dog song over it.
Yeah, it was great.
While you were talking.
God damn it.
Oh, did you not listen to the
I did
podcast?
Listen to it. I did listen to it. I had forgotten about it, though, because I'm used to this abuse from you motherfuckers.
I got to go to bed.
All right. Say the thing, Wade.
And like I said, my arm, man, it's really hard to take.
Son of a bitch.
Glenn couldn't podcast because his arm hurt.
I was tired and fatigued.
That's not what you said.
I have to raise it up. I mean, I got to reach the front of the microphone, man. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can turn this off.
Yeah, well.
I forgot what the thing to say. It must be the booster in my arm. I don't know. How do we end this?
Eat my shit. That's how we end this. Beta.
I'm dying.
Correct.
This has been a Star Trek Resignation special presentation.
Report. Ba-da-da-ba-da. Ba-dum-ba-da-dum.